Okay, so my hot take about the sitcom Everybody Loves Raymond is that Raymond here, Ray Barone, is an anti-hero. He has positive traits, but he's overall not a particularly good person. This mostly shows up in his relationship, his marriage with Deborah, in the way that he's very kind of just like lazy and self-centered and doesn't do anything to like help her out around the house at all, only cares about doing what he wants to do. But here's an interesting question. How did he end up that way? That's something to explore. Okay, and I feel like this really goes back to his parents, Frank and Marie. Now, there was two different ways that, this contributed to his being. One is that growing up as a kid, Frank and Marie taught him traditional gender roles, both by example and through their words. The traditional gender roles that say, men go to work, sometimes do some physical things around the house, like fixing or building or whatever, and women stay home, don't work, and they take care of the kids, do the housework, cook and clean, all that stuff. This is how they grew up doing things, and this is what an idea that they passed on to Ray. You see this in the way he acts. Deborah doesn't work. He goes to his job, comes home, sits around, doesn't do much to help the kids or the house or anything. But an interesting thing is, if you think about it, one thing that makes Ray different than his dad, Frank, is that Frank actually would kind of get involved in some of the housework that was in the category of, like, the manly category. That goes along with the traditional gender roles itself. Things like he likes to fix things, even though he's not very good at it. He'll do things like painting the house. He's done, like, they mentioned him doing things like shoveling snow. Ray doesn't do that stuff either, though. And the reason for this is the idea that I think was passed on to him by Marie, and that is that when he was a kid, Marie had this, mentality that kids should just play, and adults should be the one doing the work, mostly her. And this is an idea that stayed with him throughout his whole life. Robert, on the other hand, I think ended up kind of learning a little bit more responsibility because there were times in his life when he had to. There's been periods where he's lived on his own. Ray's never lived on his own. He went right from living, with his parents to living with Deborah. The mom, Deborah replacing his mom in a lot of ways. So, he's never kind of had to have that responsibility. Ray is privileged in a lot of ways that he has a job that he loves and is passionate about. That kind of comes easy to him. He gets to go to the office, watch games, write about them, hang out with his friends at the office, and then come home and be like, I've been at work all day, I can't do stuff. But he could. It's just that he doesn't really want to.